Welcome back to Salam Media. It is now 31 minutes past 7, and we're halfway through the show exactly. First up, we did have a chat to the newly appointed DSTV Premiership coach for Chippa United, Dane Clayt, one of the most decorated players in the PSL. Now takes over the reins of the Quebeca based side, and let's see how he will be able to implement his style of football, change the fortunes of the club, and hopefully last longer than a season or two, which we're all wishing for, um, because we know that he comes with so much energy and such a vibrant aura around him that will definitely rub off on the players and change the fortunes of those players who know that they can play at higher levels if they are successful under him. Well, talking about success, Banyana Banyana have qualified for the 2023 Football World Cup that will be taking place down under. This comes after they have qualified for the semi-finals of the Women's African Cup of Nations, where they will now be playing Zambia. It's going to be a tough encounter, but to tell us all about it and unpack everything Banyana Banyana related, we're joined by Gauteng's Sports Journalist of the Year for 2020 2021. And who knows, maybe she's going to be pulling a back to back, maybe a treble as well. Mpumi Manyisi, thanks so much for joining me on Salam Media this evening. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you guys for inviting me. An honor to be on the show. Thank you so much.
Mpumi, let's get straight into it. I mean, the Women's African Cup of Nations has been taking the social media pages by storm. Um, there's been build-ups on air, on television, which surprised many South Africans. And now we find ourselves heading to a semi-final. What have you made of the tournament and the performance of Banyana Banyana thus far?
What Banyana Banyana did can never be undone. You know, from facing the Super Falcons, and we know that rivalry between Banyana Banyana and Nigeria, to facing Burundi and facing Botswana. The game against the Super Falcons, it's always there's always that fierce rivalry, and we know the reason behind that. In 2018, Banyana Banyana got get knocked out of the tournament by Nigeria, and then vice versa regarding the Aisha Buhari Cup when uh, Banyana Banyana knocked out Nigeria. So the first game was that intense, and it's that the two teams that are always battling for the number one spot every time when they face each other. The other one wants the 3 points and the other one wants the 3 points. But in this case, Banyana Banyana trying. Moving on to that, they played Burundi. The match against Burundi I wasn't much impressed with it. The girls were a bit shaky, and maybe it's because they're facing a team that, how Desiree Ellis explained it, is that they were facing a team that is not familiar, that they are not familiar with, and they were facing a team that was playing in the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time. So to play a team like that, it becomes difficult to study it. You don't know who to close, you don't know who to place where. And what they did in the technical team, they started placing players in not their rightful positions. And you could see as they play, and they tried to amend that in the second half with the changes that they made. With Botswana, I expected an up-tempo game because the two teams have faced each other and they know each other very well. And it's two teams that have very robust strikers. You look at Tembi Khatane before she got ruled out, and
Mm.
look at in the Botswana side, Refilo Tolayele. Those are the ladies we were looking at in terms of hyping up the entire game, but it didn't much live up to expectations. But I do now respect Banyana to making sure that they collect maximum points. Now we saw them in the quarterfinals. Now they straight up into the top eight, and it's impressive.
I think it's impressive. Well, we know it's impressive. You know, Banyana set such high standards for us as sportscasters and also being Banyana fans because We just keep expecting title after title from them. But Mpumi, behind the scenes, there's been so much going on for this team. They've been struck by COVID in the camp, and for them to rise and injuries as well, and to rise up and make it this far in the tournament, not many would have expected it. Do you see them going all the way?
I have so much faith in this particular team. I call it the golden generation. We haven't had such a fully decorated team in the longest time. You know, we used to have a squad of ladies like this back in 2000 and in 1998, with the likes of Cabo Zita, the likes of Belzy Ellis, that I think these ladies can look up to that squad. But right now, when we look at the number of ladies who apply their trades overseas, over them, we look at the ladies that are doing well in the Holy Spirit Super League. We are looking at local clubs, South Africa female clubs that are doing exceptionally well, which are obviously the feeder of Banyana Banyana. Most of the ladies come from UWC. Most of the ladies come from JVW. Some come from UJ. And the young stars who we've known from the uh, social league ranks up to the Holy Super League, the likes of Mbulelo. And right now, I really feel like it's now or never. That's because some of the ladies are going to retire. I don't see them coming back for either another World Cup or another Africa Cup of Nations. When you look at Noko Mato, you look at Janine Van Veek. Janine already has a team and she can drop the national team anytime to focus on JVW. And it would be nice for her to, should she decide to exit the national team, to exit in style with some kind of a continental trophy. And it's even nice that the ladies now have gotten an automatic qualification to the World Cup, so they're going to play in the FIFA World Cup next year. So yeah, I'm just hoping they win this title and they also they will give them the kind of experience they need going into the World Cup, because you can't now conquer in the World Cup if you've not conquered continentally first. It has to start at home, and once you've been as solid at home, then it means you're good enough to go and compete with big teams in Europe.
Well, definitely, and I think Banyana Banyana certainly have the talent, and they certainly have the motivation to do that because they've definitely got the entire country behind them. For those of you that just tuned into the show, the semi-final will be taking place on Monday evening, and kickoff will be at 7 o'clock in the evening. Mpumi, moving forward now from the African Cup of Nations, we've got another World Cup Banyana Banyana have qualified for. And the last World Cup, they done the country proud. Yes, they fell short, but what does this mean to South Africa? We've got a national team in a football World Cup. Our men's team has had an absence from the World Cup for so many years, and now you've got the women's team qualifying back to back. And you as a journalist that follows women's football so closely and women's sport in general so closely, what does it mean to you? Are you going to be on your way to New Zealand and Oz next year?
Don't do that. I'm, I'm starting a campaign to fundraise and go there, but hopefully it goes well. It means so much to me. It means so much to me. I've invested so much in covering women's football in the country, in covering women's football in general across the globe. So I'm very familiar with most of the ladies who will be uh, taking center stage at the global showpiece. It would be nice to watch them live in actual fact. But more than anything, I was not surprised. I'm not surprised that we find ourselves where we are with regards to Banyana Banyana. It always starts at club level. You look at the 7 ladies that are representing the country overseas. Noko Matlo, Tendi Khajana, Zamensi Opesini, uh, Refugio Jani, who am I forgetting? The last of all the ladies that are
Mm.
representing the country overseas. These are the ladies that have been there for a while and not just one season in a particular team, but they always get their contracts renewed. If they're not renewing their contracts in their current club, it's either they're moving to another club or other clubs are interested in them. Whenever you
Mm.
see them coming back to SA, it's because they've decided that they want to come back and give back in local teams. Compared to Bafana, but I didn't want to get to that point. Compared to the male counterparts,
Mm.
they do guys private trades overseas, and they've been there for a longest time, or they are effective in their teams, or they're getting game time in their teams. When you look at our ladies, Ishilda Magaya in Korea, Lebiham Ramalepe, they are excelling. If you read about their stories on BBC, you read about their stories on Sky Sports. That's how much of an impact they have in their clubs. So for me, it wasn't a shocker. People are like, oh, these girls, oh my gosh. No, these girls are doing well at club level. You look
Mm.
at our domestic league, the Hollywood Sports Super League. It's not just one team. It's not just Mamelodi Sundowns. We're getting a feeder from UWC. We're getting a feeder from UJ. We're getting a feeder from Thunder Bay, from Richmond United. The youngest player that scored for Banyana Banyana in the Africa Cup of Nations comes from Richmond United. She is also SAFA Youngest Player of the Year. That is Mpumi Manyisi. So
Mm.
it's not new, and it's not new, and it's not magic. The ladies have put in the work, and for a long time, and they've been very much consistent as well.
And how much of the success do you think comes from the Hollywood Bets League, and just having a platform for these ladies to play at a, let's say, semi-professional level where they can apply their trade week in and week out, and also get compensated for it and spend more time on the minor things in order to become successful athletes as a whole. Um, do you think that has a direct contribution on the success of the national team?
You mean how they're performing in the Hollywood Sports Super League?
Yes, yes, yes. How they're performing in the Hollywood Bets Super League, and also,
Yeah,
do you think that has a direct contribution on the national team's success?
yes, 100%. In actual fact, it starts from such a league. All the youngsters that you see that are playing in the Banyana squad were discovered in the Soccer League.
Mm,
Uh, Robert Mudali, um, Ferias Smith, and Sibilela Holeni, Mtabi Singh Majia. They come from the Soccer League rankings onto and then they became a feeder for the Hollywood Sports Super League. And there Deji Ellis and the technical team now got spoiled for choice in terms of
mm,
who to pick. If you can check the number of ladies that have been left behind, they still are good players. Rhoda Mlauzi is not there. Gabriela Salgado is not there.
mm,
Makabela Makaban is not there. Um, Ansia Mgoyi, people are talking about her, and they were just bashing it, Deji Ellis, in terms of why would she leave Ansia Mgoyi out of the Banyana squad. That just goes to show how much of a quality we have. Tendi Khatana got pulled out of the tournament, but we had a number of ladies who could come in, step in, and take the leadership role in her absence. So I think we are solid in that regard.
well, the state of women's football in South Africa is definitely, definitely in a good space, in a great space, if you want to call it that, Mpumi, because for anybody to step up to national level and have the options that we have as South Africans and as the South African national team, something is working, something is being done right. Mpumi, I'm gonna put your head on the block now, and with the semi-final just what 2 days away, Banyana
Mhm.
take on Zambia, 7 o'clock kickoff. What's your prediction for this match?
I'm very bad at predictions, but Banyana Banyana will definitely win the game. It's not going to be an easy game. It's an
Mm-hmm.
all COSAFA competition. And, you know, with COSAFA teams, they always want to fight so that they get to face the team either in the Western or the North or the East Africa to test their quality always. So I feel like Zambia will come in because they want to win and also test themselves against the best of the best in the continental showpiece. However, we've got a solid, solid team. I hope they're not complacent coming out of a win in the quarterfinals. I hope they are aware that they have to live everything right on the pitch. And I think we've got quality players. We've got a very intelligent technical team that will know in terms of who to place when and where. And that is going to
Mm.
be very critical. Let's not find mistakes of taking midfielders and putting them up front like it happened against Burundi. This time around, a player that's comfortable in a certain position, put them right where they belong so that they can be able to flourish and do the right thing for the national team. They're not
Mm.
representing themselves. They know that they're carrying the entire country on their shoulders, and we're right behind them.
No, definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and listeners, you've heard it from Mpumi herself, giving us a prediction that Banyana Banyana will be victorious. She's just not going to predict the score. But well, that's good enough. Mpumi, you know what? Your insight, your knowledge that you've given us tonight, you've educated the listeners and the viewers at home on everything that there is to be educated on about women's football in South Africa, right from the SAFA League, right up to the national team. And we appreciate that, and we appreciate you. I think there needs to be so much more journalists, so many more journalists um, in the country that can give us insight about women's sport like you do, because now it's not something foreign. Mpumi's educated us. We can now join the conversation and the chat about women's football in this country. Thank you so much for your time this evening. We really, really appreciate it, and we look forward to chatting to you real soon on the show.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. Yes, I hope we catch up soon. Thank you.
Definitely, that was Mpumi Manyisi, the Houting Sports Journalist of the Year, giving us her insight on what will be going down when Banyana do take on Zambia on Monday evening. Kickoff for that game is at 7 p.m. She also gave us insight about how the tournament has gone thus far and what it's led to. So it's nice to see, just a holistic view of the tournament, because I'm sure now the viewers will be coming in by the numbers. I mean, that's what happens when there's a winning team. Everybody wants to watch them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the viewers and the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. It's always a pleasure. From myself, Zakir Daud, and the team um, that helps put this show together. We look forward to chatting to you again next week. Remember to comment, leave a comment in the comment section below, as well as share the content. Who knows? Someone on your timeline might be wanting to listen to the interesting topics of conversation that we do have on Friday Night Sports. Well, from myself and the rest of the team, we're going to call it the evening, and we hope that everybody has a great evening and a good weekend. Be safe out there and enjoy the football and all the sport that is on offer this weekend. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.